Hello and welcome to Opt to Thrive, episode 62. Joan McDonald, the 80-year-old fitness influencer, inspiring women around the world.
Welcome to Opt to Thrive, your go-to podcast for women's wellness in midlife, designed to educate, support, and inspire you to live your very best life. And now your host, Dr. Karina Sims.
Hello. It is a gloomy Saturday today, but we have had a few little teasers of spring coming. So I have been very excited to see some of that sunshine and feel that sun on my skin. I am very excited to be looking forward to spring. I very soon am going to be going on a swim holiday with my girlfriends in Fiji. So every day is a different swim. I am so looking forward to that. That's going to be such a treat to soak up some sunshine before we actually start getting into the warmer days here in what's meant to be sunny South Australia. I've just wrapped up the latest enrollment period in the Midlife Health and Body Reset program. That has gone very well. I am very excited to welcome a whole new group of women and very excited to get started working with them for over the next 12 weeks. That's going to be a lot of fun. My life is going to be exceptionally busy over the next few months because, as I said, I'm going to Fiji. I've got a whole new group coming on board for the program. And in October, I am going to go spend some time in Canada with my good friend, Dr. Suzanne Rutherford. You may remember her from some previous episodes that I've aired, and also may remember her from The Fit Physician. So she and Jake are the Fit Physician podcast hosts, and I do a bit of work with them as a nutrition coach in their program. And so they have asked me to come along and speak at a retreat that they're doing in October. So I'm going to get to meet a lot of people that I've spoke to via Zoom, but haven't actually met in person. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of the Fit Physician, I have something a little different for you today that has a lot to do with the Fit Physician. So you have probably heard me talk about Joan McDonald before. So Train with Joan is her handle on Instagram. She is a now 80-year-old fitness influencer. She started lifting weights back when she was 70. So Suzanne and I teamed up and interviewed her for the Fit Physician podcast, and they have very graciously given me the edited version so that I could also share it with my listeners here on Opt to Thrive. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. It was a lot of fun. I did have to get up at like 3:30 in the morning to be on air. Joan was in Mexico, I think, when she recorded, and Suzanne was in Canada and I was here in South Australia, so time zones are a little bit tricky, but it was definitely well worth getting up for. Very much enjoyed this interview, and I hope that you enjoy it and maybe gives you a little bit of inspiration and proves that, you know what, you are never too old to get in there and get that muscle back on your body and keep it there. So without further ado, enjoy this episode with Joan and Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne. And Karina. Sorry, I'm very bad with names. That's another one of my faults.
I am the same, but I do know your name, Joan, and that's because you're super famous. No, we also have the infamous Dr. Karina Sims, who is on. Karina, for those of you who haven't had a chance to meet her yet through our podcast, is one of our Fit Physician team members. She's one of my fellow nutrition coaches with the program. She also is a family physician and a women's health expert practicing in Australia, and also has her own awesome podcast, Opt to Thrive, for midlife women. So Karina, welcome. I know you are as big of a fan of Joan as I am. So we're both a bit giddy over here, Joan, to have you. So, so excited to get started. It's funny, Joan, I was just saying, I record a lot of podcasts, and my son, I've got a 19-year-old son who's upstairs right now. And I said, this one you have to be quiet for, okay? Like this is with a famous person. Like, this is the big deal. So honestly, I am fangirling here because I've been a huge fan of yours on social media for some time. Your story is incredibly inspirational, and I'm so excited to dig in. And Karina, I'm going to let you also have your fangirl moment and tell Joan what a big fan you are, because we both feel the same way.
This is so exciting, Joan. You just can't imagine how many times I used your story with my patients as such inspiration. So I can't wait to dig in as well, Suzanne. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thank you for inviting me to talk with you too. And I just did another, I don't know, I can't remember, it was a podcast or it was a Zoom call or whatever, with someone else from Australia who's excited that I'm possibly coming to Australia in the fall.
Oh, how
October.
Amazing.
Yeah. For the FMG show. Yeah. That's what Michelle and JJ are going to show their stuff. Strut their stuff.
Amazing. And like, how cool that all this has come to you at this age and stage of life,
Yeah,
all these new opportunities, right? Oh, so let's pull it back, because I'm sure many of our listeners know about you because you are pretty famous, Joan. But for those of you that maybe, or for anyone listening that maybe doesn't, let's talk about your story. Like, what led you to first really dive in to the fitness world at the age of 70, right? That's when you got started?
Yeah, I was just 3 months away from my 71st birthday. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Prompted you to take the plunge, to really walk into that gym with Michelle. So again, yeah. Michelle is your daughter, who's a professional trainer and expert in what she does.
Yeah. And she had her own, like, I was following her groups, the transformation groups, just ordinary women who wanted a better way of life and didn't want to age like they were saying all women should do, like sit back, sit down, don't do anything, or don't do anything that you used to do. Like, and I was not of that mind. I was still doing stuff. And I had very long before that finished doing a retaining wall with my husband's supervision. I was doing the labor. So it's like, what do you mean? If you can still do stuff, do it. But I mean, the thing is, I was actually probably depressed and didn't even realize that I had let myself go. I didn't have anything to live for because my husband, we made a pact that we would, when we retired, we would travel, we would do this and that and the other thing. And he went one way and I went the other. I still wanted to travel. I still wanted to see the world because there's so much in this world to see and do. And because I let him drive the train, I didn't know enough to get off. And Michelle and JJ were moving to Mexico. That's what really got me going. And like I said, I've been following her and going with her to all her sessions that, or programs or whatever they are that they do, like the power lifting and the being on stage, showing your body off and what you've done to get there. Like, she's a natural with so many things. And anyway, they were home for before they went down to Mexico and wanted to see us again. But I had also just been to the doctor, and the doctor had said that because I was not stabilizing my blood pressure, she needed to up the medication. And I go, no, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. So anyway, Michelle found out that I was on blood pressure. I thought she already knew, but I had been on blood pressure medication for at least 10 years before that, maybe 15. And anyway, she saw me like being as big as I was and me not even realizing I was as big as I was, puffing and puffing going upstairs from the basement where I do my laundry. And then I let the bombshell drop that, oh, yeah, well, my doctor wants to put me on more medication. For what? Blood pressure. Well, I got a talking to there. And she goes, "Do you want to end up like your mom in a nursing home? Because that's what's going to happen to you, and I won't be there to change your dirty diapers." Well, inside I was kind of laughing about that part, but it brought home to me, if I didn't have someone there being a spokesperson for me, I would probably have been in a nursing home by now, if not already gone, because my health was that bad. And I go, well, after she gave me the talk, I said, okay, let me think about it. Well, I didn't have to think very hard. I knew what I had to do. If I couldn't follow her now, when would I ever be able to follow? And she was going to be quite a ways away. So I bit the bullet. Before they left, she said, okay, I'll put you, if I can put you on a program with the girls right now, because we just started. They'd actually started, I think, closer to the beginning of December, and they were already into it. But she got me onto the program, and I already had the other ladies for support in the community. So I had to show up. You don't pick up the gauntlet unless you're going to use it. So I was scared to death because I didn't have an iPhone. I didn't have, all I had was my little iPad, and it was an ancient thing. And knowing that she was going to be several thousand miles away and me being in Canada, how was this going to work? And how we did it back then was with PDFs. So, like, and I'm technically challenged, really. And I'm going, what the heck did I do? But I'm a fighter, and no one's going to hold me down for too long. So, I mean, she might remember it a little differently, because I was in tears quite a bit. Like, how do you do this? I can't figure it out. Like, yeah, it's pretty hard to do these things online. I don't know how the girls do it, and they do it so well. Anyway, fast forward, I got into it. I was doing terrible with my macros, but I would not stop doing the exercises. She only had me doing maybe 15 minutes of cardio to warm myself up before we started the program. And I did the best that I could. I'd already had one knee replaced at that time. I think it was 3 years before. Yeah. And I had a rough time with it. But we got through it. In that first 6 months, we had decided that if I could just lose 30 pounds, like that would make me be able to move better. I lost, I think it was 45 or 50 pounds in that 6 months instead. And at the beginning, I said, look, I don't want to lose weight too fast because I'll probably gain it back just as fast. I want to lose it slow and keep it off. And I did want to get stronger. Not that I wasn't strong to begin with, but I couldn't, no one could tell that I was strong. It was all hidden by fat. And I wanted to see what was underneath that blubber. So I did. I worked my butt off as much as I could. I had conversations with Michelle. JD had to take over because, like, she had no way of controlling me from a distance. And being her mother, it's hard when it's mother daughter or any relative. You don't really want to listen to them. But I knew she had all the information because I saw what she did with other people, with strangers. And I figured if she can do it with strangers, she should be able to do it with me. And by golly, she did. I did the
She
work.
definitely did.
Yes, I did the work,
You
but she gave me the program.
amazing. Honestly, Joan, your perseverance is so incredible because And Karina and I both can attest to this working with women. It is hard. Those first few days, weeks, even months are hard. Months, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to just think this is too hard. It's complicated. I'm not comfortable in the space, whether it be the gym or anywhere else. It's just easier to just not do it. So I'm curious to know, you mentioned even being in tears at times, it felt so hard. When you walked into the gym and you started this and it was hard, and it's hard at any age, but I think, it doesn't get easier as we get older. I can't imagine. I'm curious sort of what kept you going. For those women who are listening, going, I've done this and it felt hard and the hard made me stop. What do you think was your reason? Like, what kept you going?
It's probably my personality. I'm an Aries, and I'm very stubborn, and I don't like not being able to do something that I said I could do. I just, that's the way I am. But I also had a neighbor who was as old as my husband, same age as my husband, which is another 5 years older. And she was going to the gym, and she wasn't spectacular in what she did, but she was consistent. And I'm pretty sure she's still alive. So she's got to be way up into the top part of her 80s now. And she'll keep going because she knows what it's like to have not be able to walk. Because she had, what do you call it? Not piriformis, but the other sciatic. She could not walk. She couldn't get out of bed. So they had to operate on her, and she had to learn to walk again. And she didn't, another one did not like not being able to control what happens in her life. And they believe that they're broken. They're not broken. Women have so much. Look at, they bear children. They bear the brunt of bringing those children up mostly. And most of them go out and work as well. Like, how much do you want to show that women are strong? They don't even realize it. They don't realize how strong they are. I'm sorry to say that, but
Don't be sorry. I believe it. Preach it like I.
yeah,
That's what we.
I know. I had great grandparents who, when I look back on them, they were really kind of old fashioned, but they were brought up properly to believe that you had to work hard to get you where you want to go. And you had to save your money. You had to, they never ever knew about credit. They figured, if I pay cash, I'm good. But the world has told everybody else, use the credit, build your credit. Cash doesn't mean anything. Like, what kind of thinking is that? There's so much weird thinking going on in the world. And unfortunately, a lot of people, women and men, are looking for the fast way of learning something and being the best that they can. It's not fast, and it never ends. It's always with you. It's a lifestyle. If you don't change, if you're not willing to change, I'm sorry for you. Really, I am. Like, you have to be willing to take the things that happen to you, maybe not in your stride, but at least learn to live with them, pivot from that, from what you learned, and keep learning, because that's the only way to go. It really is. And I'm probably way off track. Sorry, guys.
Not at all. Not at all. Karina, I want to give you some time because I know, like you said, you allude to Joan so much with your patients and use her as an example, as it really is never too late. So I'm handing the microphone over to you so you can also pick Joan's brain.
Okay. Well, I guess one of the things that I'm really curious about, Joan, one of the obstacles that I find with my patients and the people that I work with is going to the gym. And I can imagine for you, starting that journey with your daughter being so far away, how was that for you? Because most women are scared to go to the gym. Were you on your own? Like, how did you navigate?
Okay, let me set you straight on that one. I went by that gym I don't know for how many years, just looking in the door and not going in. And I finally, one day, I got up enough nerve to go in and ask questions. And I had been with that gym, I think 8 years when Michelle took me over, but I wasn't consistent with it. Like I would go 3 or 4 times a week, but I didn't, all I did was do the machines. I didn't even know the free weights. I didn't know how to use them. And I tried picking up a 20-pound, I think in the 20 pounds is nothing. And I'm going, oh my God, how do they do it? And then I would see other people using weights and they were using little wee weights and not, you're not seeing any change in the body at all, especially in the arms part. And I'm going, I don't think they're doing it right. So with Michelle and JJ, I found they were willing to really guide me on how to do stuff properly. Going into a gym, I can tell them right now, really, nobody's interested so much in you as they are in themselves and what they're doing there. They really aren't. And like here, I was working out, I don't know how many, maybe 2 or 3 months into my journey. And I made some friends with people. People would talk to me. And then I got people going, you should see your back. And he says, yeah, I wish I could, but I can only see forward. I can't see back. And so they were willing to take pictures of me and give them like with my camera and all the rest. And I had no idea that I was progressing. You're supposed to feel the muscles moving. I could feel it, but I couldn't see exactly what was happening. And getting it on film, looking at it, being able to go back and look at it, that was great. People are really willing. If you are willing to go to a gym, they will help you. They will. I mean, strangers will help, and never be afraid. I know it's scary, but it's not really anything to be scared about. They will help you because that's what they are. They want to get better and they would like to see other people get better.
I think that's such a good point.
So tell them.
I think it's such a common fear that you're going to be judged at the gym. People are there to judge you,
Yeah.
but people are there to basically, let's be honest, we are our own worst critics. So be hard on themselves, but help everyone else around them, And again, I love that message because I was just having a conversation with my girlfriend who's about to start a new gym and is feeling overwhelmed. And I said, listen, people are not there. Like they're there to worry about themselves and to encourage everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole judgment thing, I think,
and
let go of for sure.
And I'll tell you, if you find someone that's judging you, that's because they can't do it either. Like, really? I've seen people pass judgment, and I'm going, you got a lot of room to talk. You can't even do it right yourself. So I don't listen to them. I found Michelle was really good about that. Do not, if you get anything on your, well, it was the first year before I got onto Instagram. If someone says something negative to you, block them, get rid of them. Don't even try to get them to think like you because they won't. They're negative people and they can't do it themselves, or they think they're the only ones that can do something and no one else can. They're not worth listening to. They're not worth the time of day, even in answering them. I found that out. You try to explain something to somebody and then they get even worse. They're terrible critics, but they'll be terrible critics till the day they die. That's the way they are. There are a lot of good people in this world. Just hope that you meet up with most of them.
That's a great message.
I had a couple of questions, I suppose, after that was, one, how did you find, I think I read somewhere that you liked your gardening, that kind of thing. How did you find the strength and helped with those kinds of things? Were you noticing those functional changes as you got stronger?
Oh yeah. Like I've never had a problem getting down and getting back up again. I don't know if I've seen somebody else or if I've just figured out the mechanics of it. Like there's no reason unless you have no strength whatsoever. And I can't believe even the weakest woman would have no strength unless she's had many surgeries or, like something really medically wrong that you can get down and can't get up. I had my knee was operated on, even though it took 3 years to get it to do what it was supposed to do as much as it could. It's stronger than the other one. And that's why I have to get the other one done. They were both bad at the same time, but it's 14 or 15 years now that I've been nursing this bad knee and still functioning. But I wear a knee sleeve to help with that because the compression keeps it more stable. And I needed that. And it took me maybe 7 different tries of different knee sleeves before I got one that actually felt like it was stabilizing my knee. Anyway,
I was just curious about how you were noticing, because I have a lot of patients who tell me when I ask them if they do some strength training, they tell me they garden or they walk, and I know that those things become harder.
Mhm.
And I wondered with your strength training how you noticed the changes in those things, maybe being able to do more, how it translated to your function.
well, before I started really doing the strength training, I did have trouble with my gardening, like getting down and then getting back up again. Although I figured out how to do it, that was because I was getting stronger as well. And the other thing I was afraid of was because I'm sort of a stocky girl to begin with, like big boned. I thought, oh, I'm going to look like a guy if I, do free weights and stuff like that. But that's not the case. The diet is one big thing with the working out. And Michelle's got a protocol with not only working out, you've got nutrition, sleep is a priority, fluids are a priority, especially water. If you don't like water, you can get no calorie flavors to add to your water if that's how you want to get it down. Coffee and tea are still fluids. They all add up. If you got to have at least 3 liters a day, and if you can do more, yeah, that's good. That's better. I know you're going to have to go to the washroom a lot more, but your body will adjust eventually. It does. Like you may go through maybe a whole month of having to go to the can all the time, but by the end of that, it evens itself out. And mindset. Mindset is a big, big thing because your mind can talk you into or out of a lot of stuff.
So
And I know because I've done it. I've gone through it myself. Like if you let yourself, you can listen to the mind saying, oh, you don't really need to do that now. But
so
I
true.
felt that I needed. Yeah, I need to do what I want to do. And it's not just having to do something, it's because I want to do something because I know it's good for me.
And I think that's something we get. It's wisdom that comes with age, Joan, and you have many decades of that wisdom and to come from. But I think it's something that we appreciate as we go through life and as we get through decades. It's no longer is our health an optional thing to think about, right? Like it is everything we
Oh
have.
God, no.
It is everything we have. You mentioned a few surgeries, and I know if you don't mind sharing, you recently just went through a surgery. I was curious to know how you feel your physical conditioning, the strength that you had built going into that surgery, what difference you think it made when it came to your recovery and your rehab and your bounce back per se.
Oh, it was fabulous. I had injured my arm, and we thought that stem cell would correct it. Stem cell is really good for some people. Some people it doesn't take to. And I was one of the ones that it didn't really take to. It showed results for maybe a week or two, and then it seemed like it faded away. And I'm not fond of needles, and this was to do with a lot of needles. And yeah, I spent a week getting stem cell, and I thought this is the answer. I'd read about it happening in, actually it was in Australia where I first heard about them using stem cell. I didn't really understand everything, but all I thought was, if it works for somebody, why can't it work for me? But it wasn't. I just kept deteriorating. My shoulder kept deteriorating because what I had, it was a fall and landed on the shoulder. I did take therapy. It wasn't seeming to help all that much. But if I'd known and found this doctor like a year before I did, I would have had no problem. And actually, this operation was not with my rotator cuff. It took the load off my rotator cuff because it was a reverse shoulder replacement. So it was really shows that you have to be in good shape, because these people were all like myself, had changed their lifestyle and got stronger. And being stronger is a plus to you. You know what you can expect. Life is going to throw curveballs at you all the time. So it makes you so much better to live through everything because you're already strong. And believe it in your mind, it's even better because there's no other place to go. But
So cool.
that's my belief anyway. Yeah. I see so many women now on Facebook, Instagram. There's so many older people. They're fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Well, I have to say, both of you inspire me. I mean, Karina's not that much older than me, but Karina and I met in med school, Joan, and I've always looked up to her. And again, I think the older that I get, I'm about to turn 50, so I'm about to hit that big milestone. The more I appreciate seeing women, to looking up to women who are ahead of me in age, experience, expertise, and really showing how to do it powerfully. And you both are examples of that. Karina, I know because of the work you do with midlife women in your practice, but also with your podcast Opt to Thrive, you're working with these women all the time. And I'm curious to know, are you seeing a shift? Because Joan, I do genuinely believe your messaging and the fact that not only were you so incredibly awesome enough to make this change for yourself, which is a whole level of awesome that we all hope to achieve. But not only that, you put yourself on social media. Like you went and shared it with the world, which is another whole massive.
Michelle's guilty of that.
Well, and I
She put me.
but you're willing.
She put me on social media, and I still didn't know what I was getting into. She thought that if she didn't keep me, when she was away from me, if she didn't keep me busy with helping other people, that I would regress back into my state of, I was getting to be a hermit. Anyway, she was right. And especially when I started talking to people and they asked me questions, and mainly it was younger people, like in their 30s, with their parents or a relative of theirs that they really loved, asking for help. How could they do this? How could they do that? And then I would get messages back about, I know this one woman had, her mom had early stages of Alzheimer, and she could hardly move. She didn't know how to turn the knob of a door. Like she'd lost that ability. And she said all she does is shuffle like a few steps. And she followed me for a year with her mom. And the message that I got was her mom could walk several blocks by herself. She could turn the doorknob. She didn't shuffle. She walked. And it was just, I'm sitting there reading this and I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm going, oh my God, really? And then thinking that, oh, you can actually help people. That was the eye opener for me. And I've many times since I started, I've wanted to quit, but I'm going, but these people say I help them, they give them hope. So I'm going, you can't, you can't quit on them. They need help. They need encouragement. They need to know that they're not over the hill. They're not useful. I hate it now when I really hear people saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't. Who says? It's like an interview I had once and I go, you shouldn't wear a two-piece bathing suit at your age. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And I'm going, who says? Who made those rules up? They're not for me. If you want to abide by them, go ahead. If I can do something, I'm going to do it. And that's why on my birthdays, I always pick something that is kind of crazy. Like I did the zip lining my one birthday, and I went to a adventure park, which is crazy. It's everything you're doing. And I'm going, oh my God, you are crazy. It helps to be crazy. But it is like, people should not forget how to be children. When you lose that ability, you become very uninteresting, very mundane. You find no joy. Children find joy out of the simplest things. I can remember all the things I did. And when we had cardboard box to go down a hill for a sled, like things that they don't do today. They're not allowed to. There's too much, there's too much sadness out there to hurt the children. And there's too much negative thinking about older people. Older people have so much. I've always loved older people because they had so many things to tell you of their life. They were interesting. You can't go through life. It's pretty hard to go through life without picking up information and being interesting. It really is hard. And you must be really feeling really bad about yourself if you can't find joy in simple things.
It's so true.
You got to find joy.
I really genuinely believe that life can and does only get better if you just accept, again, find the joy in everything you do. And Joan, this conversation's been so great. Karina, I want to make sure you have some final time to ask Joan the questions you want to ask. Again, Joan, it is such a treat to be here with you. And I just want to remind all our listeners, speaking of milestone birthdays, you just had a big one. Turned 80.
Yeah.
Amazing what you're doing now. And I mean, I can only imagine when you first walked into that gym doing that program, that very first day at the age of, just shy of 71, maybe you did dream of this is what 80 would look like, but I can only imagine that's surpassing.
No, I had no idea. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But I'm kind of glad. I really am glad that my daughter kicked my ass so many times. Excuse my language, but that's the way I talk. Because if she hadn't, I would have just trickled back down to what I was. And I definitely did not want to go there. When I see the pictures of myself, I don't know about you, but you might find it with a lot of your patients. They have a very negative picture of themselves. And it's hard for them to see what you're seeing. If you can see the potential in fixing a body, fixing a mindset, then that's a great thing to have. But some people, they cannot see the forest for the trees. A simple saying. It's just like, oh, I don't look like that. I don't sound like that. When I hear my voice on a recording, I go, oh my God, do I really sound like that? Like we are our worst critics. And we need to learn to love ourselves. If somebody else, like people recognize me from my laugh, they don't even have to see me. They just have to hear me laughing. And then they go, oh, that's Joan. Like, can you imagine being known for your laugh?
That's incredible.
That's weird.
I know it's
It's
incredible.
It's really weird though. I think, oh my God, am I that strange? But there again, it's a negative response from me. Like thinking that I'm strange and someone else thinking, oh, you've got the funniest laugh or whatever.
So true.
And they can recognize it.
I'll just say, Joan,
Yeah.
I think you're such a beautiful example of what is possible. And I'm so grateful for you. But probably one of the last questions that I just really need to know is what did you do? What crazy thing did you do for your 80th?
I got on an e-bike. Have you ever been on one?
I have not.
They are actually dangerous. I had my accident by standing still, and I was just trying to move my bike, and my hand on the right side went down so the bike took off with me hanging on to it, and they're going, let it go, because I didn't think I was making it go faster with my hand on it. Anyway, I planted my face on the sidewalk. I had this big lump on my head, all bruised, black and blue, and everything else. And I got on another bike and kept riding in the city of Mexico.
Amazing.
If you've ever been in Mexico City, you know how crazy the traffic is and the drivers. And here I am doing that. And my daughter Michelle got on, and she says, what is she doing on an e-bike? She didn't even realize, like she knew I was going on the e-bike, but she never knew she never tried one before either. And she goes, oh my God, these things are dangerous. And I'm going, well, I did ride for quite a while on it. It was when we were taking the picture that I did it.
Well, another great story.
I've got so many of them.
Well, we will be waiting to see what you do for your 81st, Joan.
No, Michelle's waiting for my 90th to come up, so she can see what the hell I'm going to do. But I at least I've got back some of the fun in my life. And that's what I wanted. You got to go out laughing. You can't go out crying. And I certainly don't want to I feel so sorry for people who don't have any advocacy when they're in nursing homes, because the caretakers try to care for them, but it's awful hard and they burn out really fast because some people help themselves or try to help themselves. Other people, they just want you to be at their beck and call constantly. So other people get neglected when someone else is pushing the button all the time. Yeah. It's awful. My mom was in it for 3 years, and all she could tell me was she wanted to go. Why am I still here? Why am I still here? Yeah. She still had her mind, but her body.
And you are a perfect example of how strength training and preserving strength really helps prevent that inevitable outcome. And definitely it's on my mind all the time when I'm lifting weights, what this will mean for me 20, 30 years from now. Yes. Yeah.
In the future.
So incredible, Joan. Your story is so inspirational. Like I said, proof that at any point, it is never too late to start strength training. And and I agree, everyone is capable in some way, even if getting started is just simply practicing getting in and out of a chair, right? Like we can all start somewhere. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to, involve fancy equipment. It's just knowing where to start and that you can start. So thank you so much. Honestly, we are your biggest fans, Karina and I. You are an inspiration to us, to our patients, and just know that we are cheering you on social media. on all your platforms. And always, 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 we can't wait to see what you're doing next, truly and honestly. But speaking of that, where for our listeners who aren't already following you, which I'm sure are not very many because most are, where can we find you?
But you can find me on Train with Joan. You can just Google my name. You can find me. You can go to YouTube. You can find me. I know I've had several men trying to find people who were like around their own age, so that what they put in is, who can I follow that's in the age bracket of 70 and up or whatever. And my name apparently is pretty close.
Are people sliding into your DMs, Joan? Is this what I'm hearing? Are you getting hit on?
Oh my
gosh,
God.
we should have talked about this earlier.
It's so funny. Yeah, I find people in the funniest places. Like they'll come right up to me and they go, "Are you Joan?" I could be sitting having a sandwich or having, eating something, and they just, I've been watching you. I'm going, oh my God, I can't do anything. Now I know what actresses and actors feel like when they're out in the public. Like, you can't do anything. Nothing is private. It's all out there in the open. But I don't care anymore. Go, well, I am human. So just know that I'm not AI.
Well, definitely you're not.
The scariest part I ever had was in the first few years when I was coming to Tulum, Mexico, and Michelle and I would be walking home from the gym, and there's all these streets, and a car would pull up and stop right in front of you, and you're thinking, oh, am I going to be kidnapped or something? You don't know why they're stopping like that, right smack dab in front of you. And then someone jumps out of the car, and then you really get like, oh boy, what's going on? My girlfriend just saw you and she wants a picture with you. Do you think you can do that? Like, I'm going, oh my God, really? They scared me at first. It really did. Having people recognize who I was, and they could tell who I was from the back of me. And I'm going, oh, it's got to be the hair.
Beautiful hair, Joan, on top of everything else, or your strong back. Exactly.
Oh my
So
God.
what I've learned is from Joan, what I've learned from you, it's never too late to get strong AF. It's never too late to, again, become a celebrity and become a fitness celebrity on top of that.
Yeah.
Like the fact that your life, it only just all started at the age of 70. So again, thank you for sharing your story. You are super awesome. I wish I could come and hang out with you, have a cup of coffee in Mexico with you and hear all your stories, but maybe that will come real life. Maybe that will come to real life sometime.
Yeah, well, I come
amazing,
back to Canada once in a while.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
And I hope to see you, Karina, in, where do you live in Australia?
I'm a few hours north of Adelaide. I'm in the country. So if I see you on the street, Joan, can I say hello? Get a picture?
Yeah, you can come up to me. We were at a menopause show, and we're going back this October into Toronto. There's another menopause show. They want us back there. And the first time kind of got me. Like, I'm going, I couldn't take a few steps without people just like, Joan, I've been waiting for you. I wouldn't have thought in all the world that people would recognize me that much, or come to a show hoping to see certain people. Like, there's so much information at these menopause shows or at any of these events. I've been to one up in Mexico. I can't remember the name of the city, but all these people are now caretakers because they follow me. They want to help their clients. And I'm going, you're not just saying something like that. You actually mean it. You changed your career so you could help other patients do what I did. That is amazing. That is so amazing. It gives them hope that they can change the lives of a lot of seniors. And in Mexico, they really do not like to have their seniors in homes or anything. They want them to be at home with the families. They really care about their elderly. It does your heart good to see that kind of thinking, because I'm afraid North Americans, I don't know about Europeans, but Europeans, I think a lot about their seniors as well. But North Americans want to get away from the seniors. And I'm going, why? You can learn so much from them.
So true.
It took a long time before Canadians even followed me. That they were the last on board.
Well, you are a true inspiration, which clearly is a demonstration by how many followers you have, how many people stop you on the street, how many people have changed their lives and other people's lives because of you. So thank you again, Joan. Keep being totally wicked awesome as you are. And like I said, we will be following you closely, as always, as your biggest fan.
So there you go. That's what I have for you today. I hope that you have enjoyed that. Suzanne and Jake are doing some pretty good work over there at the Fit Physician. On their podcast, they do give a lot of very good evidence-based practical information, not just for physicians. I think a lot of women in particular could get a lot out of it. So if you're interested, you can find them again at the Fit Physician on all the usual platforms. So you might want to give them a listen as well. I hope you have a great week. And until then, I hope you opt to thrive.
The Opt to Thrive podcast is designed for information purposes only and is not engaged in the giving of medical advice. The information provided on the podcast should not be used for diagnosing or treating a health problem or disease. In no way should the information provided by Opt to Thrive be considered medical advice, and at all times the advice of a medical professional should supersede recommendations from Opt to Thrive. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, you should consult your healthcare provider. The views expressed in this podcast are purely that of Dr. Sims and do not in any way reflect those of the institution she contracts for medical services to.
Thank you for listening to Opt to Thrive. If you've enjoyed listening, please rate and share the podcast. You can visit our website at optothrive.com and leave a comment for any subjects you would like to hear more about.